Every business wants good customer reviews. Every customer wants a good experience. So what happens when both sides click? Or in some cases, when they don't? From Yelp and Entrepreneur Media, this is Behind the Review.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
I'm Emily Washkovic, Yelp small business expert. Every week, I pick one review on Yelp and talk to the entrepreneur and the reviewer about the story and business lessons behind it. As we continue to celebrate Women's History Month, this episode features the story of another successful and resilient female entrepreneur. She happens to also be a mom and has built a business in the past 9 months that proudly displays what hard work, a high-quality product, and dedication can create. Let's see what's behind this week's review.
I don't remember it being on the website itself, but I followed her on Instagram and she would make references like, hey, you got to find it. It's a little bit of a hidden gem. So, she made little notes, and just following her on Instagram, she made mention. So it wasn't as hard to find it. You got to know a guy kind of for a speakeasy. So I knew a guy by following her.
That's Natalia. She's telling me about a pie speakeasy in Jacksonville, Florida called Mixed Fillings Pie Shop. It's as cool as it sounds, and it's a business that was born in the pandemic. Today, we're going to talk to Natalia about her connection to the business, as well as speak with owner Natasha about how her online business began and then boomed in 2020. First, let's hear Natalia's review.
Oh my, I am all about that pie. Mixed Fillings is a gem of a pie shop. The Costanza is the best peach pie I have ever had. The blur lines is also amazing. With that pretzel crust, it's genius. And we also enjoyed the oatmeal-style crust of the apple pie, warmed with a nice scoop of vanilla ice cream, a true classic. The ordering process and pickup was seamless. The baker and owner is as sweet as her pies, and we'll be back for more soon.
You know a review is good when it actually makes you hungry for the item. And in this case, I want to taste one of those pies. But I'm also loving that the ordering and pickup process was seamless, and that meeting the owner and baker, Natasha, only enhanced the experience. Natasha knows that her interactions with customers and involvement in the business is essential, so she really leans into it, and it sets Mixed Fillings apart.
I have actually been in customer service since I was about 15, 14 years old. I worked at McDonald's as a teenager. I've worked in the the hospitality industry. I've worked in the finance industry. I've worked in call centers. I've worked at Walmart. I have so much customer service experience, like it's not even funny. And so who cares about the pies, right? Because pies, you can buy pie at Publix, but the people are coming back to us because they just really enjoy, one, the story. They're like, you're crazy enough to open during a pandemic, but two, because we're genuinely just really nice, fun, all American, everyday people. And that's very relatable. And we're very accessible. They like that they can see us online. They can see us doing stuff on Instagram and having fun. So it's just people really like to be able to have that type of level of customer service. And it's not only myself. My husband, he's in the shop every day. I recruited him. He actually worked for Wells Fargo during the pandemic. And I couldn't my goal originally was 10 pies a week. And it just exploded. And I had to call him one day and I said, in June, okay, I told you we open in May. In June, I said, you have to trust me. I need you to quit your job right now and come up here to the pie shop and just help me. And he did. And he came up there. And his customer service is even better than mine. Our customers, the women, they come up there really for him. They don't come up there for me.
Natasha recruited her husband to leave his job and help her full-time at the pie shop less than 2 months in. She made it sound like her business booming was a complete surprise. And while sure, her business plan accounted for a modest start of 10 pies a week, the growth she had did have some strategy and force behind it. Natasha owned a business making healthy food before Mixed Fillings. It was successful, but Natasha wasn't really happy or passionate about it. After visiting her aunt in Jacksonville, Florida, and falling in love with the area, Natasha decided to move her family there and convinced her husband to let her follow her passion, making pies. She did market research and was able to show what a lucrative industry making pies really is. But she didn't just stop there.
For like the first 3 days, aside from the website, I hit the street. I walked house to house in Riverside and Avondale for like the first 3 blocks of my neighborhood. And I put flyers at people's doors. I went to businesses and I spoke to the owners of the businesses, and I went to doctors' offices. I know if I go out here and I start talking to people about pie, somebody is going to want to buy my pie. And so that's what I did. And it was just like, when people realized, wait, there's a new pie shop and it's easy to order from them. It's a fun experience, like going to get it. If they're accessible, like there's all these good reasons to try it. And so the word of mouth just spread, and then we ended up on the news. And then like we have like celebrities and NFL players and all kinds of people reach out to us, and we don't advertise at all. We just stay focused. We keep our head down, focus on our product, and stay focused on our customer service, and it just does the rest on its own.
This success is a beautiful combination of incredible pies, a fun and fabulous family who makes and serves them, social media, and some hard work. Natasha pounding the pavement is the kind of grassroots marketing that some business owners don't think they have time or effort for, but it pays off. The same is true for the social media content that Natasha creates to promote mixed fillings online. For Natalia, that deepens the connection.
So at Mixed Fillings, she kind of has built a brand. Like she calls everybody cutie pies, and she's talking to her audience. She's not just like, hey, look at this or look at that. She's having a conversation the entire time. And it's also visual. She takes her own photos of her pies, and she well crafts all the images. She is so thoughtful in the names that she comes with, as well as the presentation. So it just keeps me coming back, and it's a relationship that she's building.
Natalia is spot on when she says that Natasha is building a brand. Natasha is a master marketer on a startup budget, but she's also smart enough to recognize when hired help will help. Specifically, when it comes to their social media, she needed someone to join the team.
Initially, it was just myself trying to answer all the DMs, all the Facebook messages, all the emails, all the phone calls. And literally my eyes started like twitching. And so I hired a social media manager named Grace. And she literally has saved my life. And so through myself being able to answer the phone and do the emails and be face-to-face with customers, and then through having Grace answer those questions and stay engaged with our customers, we create our content together. But when it comes to the customer service, people want access to you instantly nowadays. That's why we have the Facebook Messenger feature on our website. And so I had to implement a person in the team that would be able to handle staying in contact with the customers, because I can't do it by myself.
Natasha has had to prioritize her time and the customer touchpoints that are most important to her, while bringing on help to serve the needs of all customers in a timely manner. I really loved that she mentioned having a Facebook Messenger feature on her website. Setting up these systems that help enable direct and constant communication has enhanced the personal touch people feel when they order from and interact with Mixed Fillings. Shifting gears slightly, I want to talk about one of the main motivators that got Natasha into owning her own business: motherhood.
My kids have only known me as a mompreneur. I went to culinary school back in 2011, but my kids are 16 and 14. And so they've always known their mom to be out there hustling and in the streets and doing what she's got to do to pay the rent and get food on the table. And so I do it because growing up, my parents were in the military and I was always home alone. And I promised myself when I had kids, I was going to be there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon every day. And the only way I could do that is if I took control of my time. So I had to pivot. That's why I say I'm a professional survivor, because I'm constantly finding a way to try to be there for my kids. And so, yeah, this is literally the only reason why I do any of the things that I do, is so that I know that at 3 o'clock, I can be there.
And there's something else that fuels Natasha forward.
This is Sorry, it's like really, really important to me to have an opportunity to show people that look like me that no matter what type of adversity you like are facing, no matter what you think you're born into, you can overcome and you can make something successful, and you can then take it back to the community and you can show people how to do it, and you can make people's lives better. And that's really the main reason why I do it. Like, I make the pie so that then we can have other conversations, because it's like the Golden Girls. They always, like, when something deep happens, they get the cheesecake out and they all sit and they have the cheesecake, and then at the end, the moral of the story is, right? And so that's what pie is for me. It's like, it's that vessel that starts that conversation. And so, like, we're there to help the community to overcome the pandemic, racism, injustice, inequality. That's why we talk about those things on our page, because we want the community to know that just because, like, I want your money for the pies, like, I have kids that are in this community. My kids go to school with your kids, and I want to leave this place better than I found it. That's the way I was raised. And so that's how I do it, is through my pie.
Pie as the vessel for those important conversations. Whether you've seen The Golden Girls or not, I'm sure you can picture another scene from your own life or another show or movie where people connected over a container of ice cream or a shared meal. This commitment and connection to the community is about bettering everyone, but it's also about representation.
I had a conversation with someone the other day, and she's a woman of color just as I am. And she said when she had first met me that she didn't even know that Black women owned bakeries and that that was even a thing. I've had other Black women come to my window and say, "Sis, I didn't even know that we baked like this. This is amazing. Like, I'm so excited." And in Dallas, like, I go in the kitchens, I see people that look like me all the time. But then you come here to the other part of the South, I guess, and it's not the same story. And I need little girls that are out there, because I used to be the little girl with the easy bake oven. And I need the little girl out there with the easy bake oven that's maybe not living in the best situation to know that she can find happiness through that thing, like through that thing that makes her feel like it's like therapy or something. That's what baking is for me. It's a form of therapy. And so I feel like that's another reason why it's really important, because nobody goes through life without some form of trauma. And so many times we use all these different ways to try to heal ourselves. And, like, why do that when you can, like, make something beautiful and then give that beautiful thing to somebody, and then you can have, like, a really cool conversation, not even about that thing, just about anything, and it's all because, like, you were trying to heal yourself. And so, me being able to tell my story of me being a survivor, I'm a survivor of sexual assault. And so when children actually learn that, and then they see, wow, she didn't become a drug addict and she's not in the streets, or she's not, all these terrible things we assume are going to happen to someone who's gone through the things I've gone through, that's why it matters.
Natasha's story, energy, success, and drive are inspirational. She's making massive changes in her community and her customers' lives through baking tasty pies. But also, she's talking to them, starting conversations, and working to be impactful as a brand. In creating this business and brand that people are so excited to engage with, reviews have been a huge part of their journey.
It means a lot when a person tries your product and they take the time to go onto an app or any platform and then share that. It doesn't mean a lot because it makes us feel good. It means a lot because I've been able to hire people that weren't working during the pandemic. And I've been able to hire those people because the reviews that were on these platforms that said, if you try this, it's going to change your life. It's amazing. I recommend you ask for the head honcho. Like, things like that. Those recommendations are getting me to the point where I can start to offer insurance to my people. Like, I opened my business in April and I wasn't supposed to have employees until year 2. I was still supposed to be suffering right now. You know what I'm saying? But it's because the community is, like, lifting us up and they're sharing us and they're spreading the word. I'm, like, dying and from baking pies and having to hire more people. Like, please. So every review really, really matters. It makes a big difference.
Natalia's positivity and motivations for reviewing are similar to other guests we've had on the show.
As far as like keeping it positive, I try to keep it constructive and not just like bash anything. And when I do reviews, most of the time my reviews reflect the things I did enjoy. And I might say something constructive about like, this could have used a little bit more of this, or it was missing something here, or, but I still kind of try to keep it a positive and not just bash it, because that could ruin it for everybody.
I think we've learned, though, not everyone takes that approach. We do have some negative Nancys, and Mixed Feelings has had theirs as well.
I got one-star review once. It's the most hilarious thing ever. He was mad that we were pre-order only. It was during the pandemic. I didn't have any employees. It was literally myself and my husband. And so I could only be pre-order, and I couldn't afford to hire people. It said everywhere that we were pre-order only online. It said everywhere. And so he wrote a review, and I did respond to the review. I was not rude. I responded to the review, and I told him that I didn't feel it was fair that he was holding us to a standard that he had created and not a standard that we as a business model had ever set. We had explicitly said from day one that we were only pre-order, and that was our service model all the way. And we actually were never going to be walk up. The only reason we offered walk up was because of this one-star review.
You heard her right. They now offer walk-up pie by the slice because of this one-star review. Let me just say that I don't think this is always the answer. By no means am I suggesting that you make massive changes to your business every time you get a critical review. However, in this case, it was worth sharing. Natasha decided to make a change, but not just for the heck of it. She was going to make this change have a positive impact on her business. I'll leave you with her sharing how it's turned into a great success.
It was like I said, I took something negative, I turned it into something positive, because I said, you know what? These people really want these walk-ups. Because if he is willing to take the time to say, I'm going to the Better Business Bureau because you don't give me walk-up slices, I said, well, let's do it. And you know what? When he did that, actually, it was good, because I started thinking, well, if I did that, how much money could I make? Could I make enough money to pay for a girl to work here? Could I make enough money to pay for two? And so that's what happened. And so thank you, Mr. One-Star Review.
And that concludes our episode. Be sure to subscribe so you get new episodes every Thursday. I hope you enjoyed it and were able to take a thing or two away to implement in your own life. Whether it's a new idea that you can bring back to your business or a fresh perspective on how to be a positive influence as a consumer, we share these stories to inspire and create more meaningful connections in your local community. For more information about today's business or to connect with me, check out the show notes.
Behind the review, dig deeper too. Behind the review, get all the news. Food, flowers, fixing, make business boom. Behind the review, dig deeper too.
This episode featured conversations with Natasha Burton, the owner of Mixed Feelings Pie Shop, and Natalia, a reviewer in Jacksonville, Florida. To learn more about the episode, check out the episode blog post. Don't forget to subscribe so you get an alert each Thursday when a new episode comes out. To claim your own Yelp business page and start engaging with consumers, visit business.yelp.com. Our theme song is performed by Allie Schwartz and produced by Robbie G of Messerol Sound. The show was produced and edited by Entrepreneur Media.